for aha African History and Heritage TV. And also some for historian Koju Ajemai. Magia kunya biu na munim se me transit dia na sema mu ede nam deba. Odofo ye dikane abo Ghana for adehie nyina anohoba. Say Bono East regions yimu babia ahensem ewo asasesem ede basabasaye aba yebedom suko na brano no ede abeto atifo anim na mahunu ne ntia basabasayo aba ho na enam so ama adehye yetumi enyadwen baako ede asia no na Sampa nkunwasem beto hui African History and Heritage TV yantiana yedo musuko ede ne ekone ne eba ebetu dwa ne aye kan se Ghana ban wanhwe yi a ebesi no asi na chese African History and Heritage TV ye nitro asema ye kan asema adanse ewo ho na esan se ya boman ho ba se Sampa nkunwasem no ye de ani bedi akiri kosi se ye bekama asumdua ba ma adehye abewo Sampa ne ade wo no wadi nade ewo asumdue kwan so ne ebesi bia no na chese brano no esese ye de emu enchiremu eba na ne yensa kan krata bia esese ye de emu amanebo ebeto adehye a ewo Ghana adehye a ewo bonomamu adehye a ewo German North District adehye a bewo Sampa asi ahenefo a bewo Sampa be de akodan Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee se onfa tabo ento Justice Emmanuel Ankamaso ma onye ne ho se oyo hene ewo Sampa traditional area na isan se yede African History and Heritage TV yetumra ne ya kiresi enti krata no ene damoni mai me ba be kenkan emu nsem makomako ede amotifo atie eti odofo enane yeda edika oba ye channel so a modern so be subscribe no wa share na wa ma atifo nkae ate kasebo bi if you say abakosema eye nokre abakosema yemfra mu abakosema eye krojin se wo patia eno ne African History and Heritage TV so na krata no o say in the Judicial Committee of the Bono Regional House of Chiefs Sunyane Bono Region petitioners Nana Sie Kwasi Jasehene Sampa Nana Kwame Lofia Abakuma Hene Sampa Nana Ajato the second Nifahene Sampa all of house number BJ 000-9946 Sampa versus Justice Emmanuel Ankama respondent. Motion on notice for interlocutory injunction. Please take notice that this Honorable Judicial Committee will be moved by Joseph Adubosompem Esquire of Munufie Legal Services Sunyane for and on behalf of the petitioners or applicants herein, praying the Honorable Judicial Committee of the Bono Regional House of Chiefs for an order of interlocutory injunction to restrain the respondent, Justice Emmanuel Ankama, from in any manner styling himself and performing the duties and function as a Mahine of Sampa, and or for any such further orders as the Honorable Judicial Committee may deem fit to make. Judicial Committee to be moved on 4th on Thursday, the 14th day of August 2025 at 9 a.m. in the forenoon or so soon hereafter as the counsel for the petitioners or applicants may be heard. Dated at Monofie Legal Services, Sunyane, this 25th day of July 2025. Orofo eye bosume enwotwinum, that is August. Ena nana sie kwasi oye jase hene wo Sampa. Nana Kwame Lofia abakma hene wo Sampa. Nana Ajato the second ono so ye nifa hene wo Sampa. Bede adisrede ekoto Bono Regional House of Chiefs a Judicial Committee anim se anyebia besre court nada. Court emo modern na onfata abo ento Justice Emmanuel Ankamaso se beyo na ontumi enye ne ho se oye ohene ewo Sampa traditional area. Na inshebia so a court no ebetim edia to Justice Emmanuel Ankamaso no besre se court no emphasize anhye no ento eneso. Na yewo krata bi ewo ha ya treso order for substituted service. Na lawyer no eye Mr. Ana Esquire Kojo Adubo Sompem onene petitioners ya beye ahemfo miensen ya be kire se bene beye asia henefo ewo Sampa no be lawyer ye friend Kojo Adubo Sompem awo Monofie Legal Services sunyane ene de bano asem eto krata so ede koma Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee. That was 25th day of July 2025. Ebronya bosume ensonomun ena lawyer ofale bano asem na ne odito krata no so no ekire se court no ebe kwa sitna August 14th 2025 at 9 a.m. Nankra yensa kanesem se court no kwa sitna no owura na yesaman no se court mfata abo ento no so no wanko nti etisade anache se esese ye di bibia ye friend substituted service ede ko from famba bia obehunu na wako na substituted service no ebi eni kura mi be kenkan motifo art. Also in the Judicial Committee of the Bono Regional House of Chiefs, Sunyane, suit number BR/HC/P.6/2025. Nana Sie Kwasi Jase Hene Sampa. Nana Kwame Lofia Abakma Hene Sampa. Nana Ajato the second Nifa Hene. These are the petitioners or applicants versus Justice Emmanuel Ankama respondent. Or say order for substituted service. Upon reading the affidavit of Nana Ajato II, Nifahene of Sampa, house number BJ00009946, Sampa in the Bono region of the Republic of Ghana, filed on 12 August 2025, in support of motion ex parte for an order to serve the petition and motion for injunction on the respondent by substituted service. And upon hearing the submissions of Florence Akua-Danso Esquire, holding brief for Kojo Adubosompem Esquire for the petitioners or applicants, it is hereby ordered that service of the petition and motion for interlocutory injunction filed on 23rd July 2025 and 1st August 2025 respectively, together with this order, be effected on the respondent in the following manner. Nina ne se court ne call asetna no lawyer ojiramu edema lawyer Kojo Adubosompem ye friend Florence Akua-Danso na court no eje mu se yemfa bibi a ye friend substituted service yemfa nko serve Justice Emmanuel Ankama ewo saa kwan a edididi suwe na benfre no say Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee announce court no ehia no. 1. Posting copies on the notice board, Sampa Police Station. Injunction no ni invitation ne service no benfa copies enkotare Sampa Police Station. 2. By posting copies on the notice of Magistrate Court, Sampa. Magistrate Court, yamfa bin kotare ho. 3. By posting copies on Sampa Post Office. Yamfa bin kofum farm, Sampa Post Office. 4. By posting copies on the notice board of Omanhene of Sampa Palace. Na yen Sampa biso enkofum farm. Omanhene or Sampa na himfie. 5. Any other public places. Any babia if he say yadi bi ekofum farm eye Justice Emmanuel Ankama obehunu se court Bono Judicial Committee ehia no yemfa bi nkotare ho where they shall remain pasted for 14 days na yemfa saade in the fam ho na watri menu 14 days. The committee further ordered that copies of the petition and the injunction application be duly served on Mr. Alexander Amponsa Esquire of Adom Legal Services, Sunyani, pursuant to his plea before the committee. Now, or say, petitioner Nanano Miansa, Berba de Srede Akoto Bono Regional House of Chiefs, Judicial Committee na Adimono, HRSA. Sa fra yefre Justice Emmanuel Ankamano yem sanfa sa service nubi enkoma Mr. Alexander Amponsa onoso oye lawyer ewo Adom Legal Consult Sunyane. Given under my hand and in the seal the Bono Regional House of Chiefs Sunyane this 9th day of October 2025. 89 Bosumi Dui Neda etosonkron ena saa na montui ekoso se court no emfa invitation na court no ede frɛ service ede frɛ Justice Emmanuel Ankama no enko from farm saa bia ya mabodin. Signed by Okochiridon Setiapo II, Drobohene Chairman, Dasibre Okoji Amandu Duampem II, Nsoko Hene Member, Osajefo Ampem Anye Amuampon Tabrakon III, Wenchi Hene Chairman, judicial committee no saf anananom ahemfui na beti judicial committee no eso odofo subscribe na share nama atifo enti nkaibo ibi na sa tabo nananom miensa bekyere se bede beye asi ahenefo ewo Sampa nkonwa ho bede akodan Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee say besre no so onfa tabo ento Justice Emmanuel Ankama so se ontimi nya na hote so oyo hene ewo Sampa yefre bibi affidavit in support entama bekaye edital bodies ready a bede kodan court no ntama bekaye nso ba kruchire agukrata so what the word the steady court yefre bibi affidavit in support wukwa adu a wo bono esesa o kantam na tankanum o kire ne enti a ehu hia se sa kwadu no wo de bo nipa kura o bo ne kwadu ne se court emfa no fa mrakwa bi so no eno ne yefre ne affidavit in support there no so mba be kenkan nananom yensen ba affidavit abede tachi be kwadu eno no anaba desfede se Bono Regional House of Chiefs emfa tabo ento Justice Emmanuel Ankama so any crime. Also in the Judicial Committee of the Bono Regional House of Chiefs, Sunyane Bono Region, petitioners Nana Sie Kwasi Jasehine of Sampa, Nana Kwame Lofia Abakuma Hine of Sampa, Nana Ajato the second Nifahine of Sampa, all of house number BJ000-9946 Sampa versus Justice Emmanuel Ankama respondents. Affidavit in support. I Nana Ajato the second Nifahine of Sampa of house number BJ000-9946 Sampa in the Bono region of the Republic of Ghana do hereby make oath and say as follows. Nana Jato ose o kantam ntama o kano nenchirechirimu enodeboy ose that I am the third petitioner or applicant and the deponent hearing ose nana no ma bedeba sem akodan court yi no ono ne tosum yensa that I have the consent and authority of the other petitioners and applicants to make this affidavit on our joint behalf. Ose santam kan we nipa nananoma himfo mienu abeka ne hu betiase so mfa sa ntam kan we enkobo Justice Emmanuel Ankama Elkoto. 3. That the respondent is a member of the Affidavit family of Sampa or say Justice Emmanuel Ankama be boniko adui ono oye Affidavit abusuani. 4. The petitioners are the Jasihini Nifahine and the Bakmahine of the Sampa Traditional Council and the Kingmakers of the Sampa Paramount II. Or say Nanano Miansenya Bediba Desrede Akodan Court yi. Beni Jasihine Nifahine any Bakmahine or Sampa. Na Befune Beye Esia Enefo. Ewo Sampa Nkunyano. Sampa Akunyakesiye Eno. 5. The petitioners say that the Queen Mother of Sampa, in consultation with the elders of the royal family, nominated Ransford Oba to be considered as the Omanhene of Sampa after he has been selected and installed by the Kingmakers of Sampa. He was given a new name, Nana Yaw Samodua II. Or say Obahima eyi owura bia na efrene Ransford Oba se ono na akonwa na atono na esodie na ode no ema asi ahenefo yi asi ahenefo nso eye hwehwemu hu se ofata enti bede no esi akonwa so a bema na konwa din Nana Yaw Samodua II. That after the death of Nana Kofisno II, the petitioners who are Kingmakers of Sampa or Minister nominated and selected and installed Nana Yaw Samodua II as the Chief of Sampa. Or say, Nasa akonwasie ekoso wobrekwa Nana Kofisno II owuye no. 7. The Kingmakers of Sampa and the Queen Mother of the Minister went through the customary practice of the people of Sampa in their nomination, selecting instrument of Nana Yaw Samodua II as the new Omahine of Sampa on the 26th of September 2015, at a time that there was no case pending in respect of the Sampa Omahine and the new Omahine Nana Yaw Samodua II. Also, after 2015, Bronya Bosume Nkronomu Ena Nananom Ede Ransford Oboy Yedrisi Akunyaso na Yeman Nkunyadin Nana Yaw Samodua II. Sabre no na Amansubia Ena Sampa Agoyano. That the Kingmakers have not nominated, selected, and installed any other person as the Chief of Sampa after the installment of Nana Yaw Samodua II. Ose nansi ahene foi ene na ahema be mo bia di mfa ne nsi akonwa so se oye Sampa hene apart from Nana Yaw Samodua II. 9. That the respondent, who is from Afia family, is holding himself as the Omahine of Sampa. Or say, respondent oye Justice and coming onam nasema or can say or no ene ye Sampa Mahine. 10. That the petitioner say that the respondent is styling and presenting himself as a Paramount Chief of Sampa, which is a recipe for chaos in the Sampa traditional area, more so where the Kingmakers have already installed Nana Yaw Samodua II as the new Omahine of Sampa. Or say, Justice Ankama esansa onama or can say or no the year or Omahine was Sampa nuntino. Ebetimi edipasabasa yaba says that Nana Yaw Samodua II is now in possession of the Omahine of Sampa Blacks too. Niaba can say Nana Yaw Samodua ena Sampa Mahine akunwa tuntum no ewon nchen na chese ono eneye Sampa Mahine bafa mamrem ni amane edinansi akunwa so. 12. The petitioners say that the conduct of the respondent is an aberration of the custom and tradition of the Sampa traditional area, which cannot have two paramount chiefs at the same time, and add that after the installment of Nana Yaw Samodua II, they have not installed any other person as the Omahine of Sampa. Niebe can say, Eye Justice Ankama ono kwa onam so ewo Sampa no se ono bone ho safohene se ono ne ye Sampa Mahine no itia amamre ni tia amane enso na niabe kan se Nana Yaw Samodua ena bafa amamre ni amane kwa nso de ne asi akonwa so na ono ati no asi ahenfo yi emfo bia ensi akonwa so. That again, it is not the custom of the people of Sampa to have two paramount chiefs at the same time. Or say netia mamre sa Sampa fo binya ahimienu. That the respondent stands to lose nothing if this application is granted. Niebe kachire Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee ne say sebede tabo eto Justice Ankama so say ma onye ne ho so ye hene ewo Sampa enya de a obehwiri bibia. 5. That in the interest of justice, to maintain the status quo and order at Sampa, more so where the applicants have acted timeously and avoided delay in bringing this application, we pray Nananom to grant the application for interlocutory injunction. Brena sebe yona asumdue ebeba na asumdue na abetim dada no ebeba no besre court say sa tabo ya besre court say onfanto Justice Emmanuel Ankamasu ontiebe na onfanto neso, that unless restrained by an order of this Honorable Judicial Committee, the respondent would unreasonably and contrary to custom present himself and star as additional Omanhene of Sampa. Nyochen say, Sebamfa tabo no anto Urua Justice Ankamasu obeto akoso yese ono eneye Omanhene of Sampa. That it is the prayer of the applicant that the instant application is granted. Now, almost record no say, I district the abedo to court no nimno, court no enyentum, that my counsel shall refer to the pleadings when arguing his motions. Na nebetre say nananom etna asem no so a be lawyer for ana be lawyer ebe chire basem num de achire court no manato asumu 20, that I have been advised and believe same to be true that we have customary legal right and equity which ought to be protected by Nananom. Nananom say yes, but yeah, banya futu say a be right say sa asemwi ene eya mamre mabekwan se ne abayi esese beye. Wherefore I swear this affidavit in support of application accordingly. Now say enam sentino okasantam we edeka ne kwadua odebo Justice Ankama court nushia obechirichirim no ne lawyer bechirichirim no or the santam kadi ebo Justice Ankama sworn as union this 23rd day of July 2025 in the presence of Commissioner for Oath. Na santam keno Commissioner for Oath anim no koka santami ewo bronya bosome no etoso nson no dadunu enam yensa ena okoka santami. The Registrar Regional House of Chiefs, Bono Region, and copy for service on the respondent hearing. Na or the santam kenso ebi their comma respondent no ni aibe bon code no eye Justice Emmanuel Ankama. Order for subscribe na share na ma atifo nkaye inti kaseboy bi na kaseboy imu edepa. Now yewo asamba ko a eno so ka ho santam ya nananom yensa baako a ye friend nana lofie ogina banani mu kan ye no de santam ekobo Justice Emmanuel Ankama ne kwadu ne say ne kwadu no na sabre ye be kenkan de ama adofo yi ne kwadu no also nananom the petitioners are claiming that the kwadu no the friend statement of case. Nananom the petitioners are claiming the reliefs endorsed on the petition against the respondents. Whenever the Omanhene for Sampa II became vacant, the royal family nominated a candidate for the consideration of the Kingmakers of Sampa, Omanhene II, for selection and installment. Or say Omanhene Kumiano say bedampanya Kingmakers asia here for no ebo bidin the nisia Kumiano so. The Kingmakers of the Omanhene II, in consultation with the Samodua II, nominated, selected, and installed Ransford Oba as the Omanhene of Sampa and given a new stool name, Nana Yaw Samodua II, after the death of Nana Kufisno II, who was from the Kufisno Gate. Or say, Nana Kofi Sono ewu ye no na asi ahenefo yi ne oba ahema hia ebe be ti se ho na bebo owura Ransford Oba edin na bede no esi akonwa so man nkonwa din na Yaw Samodua II. Nananom, the Affidavit family has no claim to the Omahene stool of Sampa. It is the Samodua Royal Gate and Kofi Sono Gate who nominate the candidate to be considered and elected as Omahene of Sampa. Or say, Affidavit busuanoma Justice Ankama Frim no Veno benye adehye ewo Sampa kunwa kese no ho. Na adehye abewo Sampa kunwa kese no ho no. Yaw Samodua abusua ene Kofi Sono abusua. The Affidavit family can only nominate a candidate to be selected and installed as Akwamuhene, which was carved for members of the Affidavit family by the late Omahene of Sampa, Nana Kofi Sono II. Or say, amamre ni amanye Emma Affidavit abusua no kwan se beno bebe yi obi emana kodi akwamhene efise akoma konwa no Nana Kofi Sono otoso mienu oboma won obra na otiase. Nananom, the Affidavit family does not form part of the Royal Gate of Sampa or Omahene stool. The respondent is styling and presenting himself as Omahene of Sampa despite the fact that the Kingmakers have already installed Nana Samodua II as Omahene of Sampa. The Nananom can say, Affidavit abusuafo ewom se be abusuafo mom de nanso be ya de share de nanso Sampa kunwa kese no de enya de abedibi eyeye nanso no owura yi a oye respondent Justice Ankama ne our council on the yes Sampa mine. No, it is the case of the applicant that this case is not frivolous. The practice that was followed to install the late Nana Kofi Sono I and other Paramount Chiefs has become a precedent in Sampa Chieftaincy matters. It was this accepted precedent and practice and usage that was activated and followed by the Kingmakers of Sampa Omahene stool that paved the way for Nana Samodua II to be customarily selected, nominated, and installed as Omahene of Sampa. Ne Nana no miense kan se kwa be fa so ede Nana Yaw Samodua ne toso mienu esi akonwa so no. Ya amamre kwa trudu na be fa so amamre abeye ne dada no a eno na be di so ede no esi akonwa so. The respondent family, the Affidavit family of Sampa, is challenging the installment of Nana Samodua II as the Omahene of Sampa and allegedly installed the respondent as the Omahene of Sampa contrary to law and custom of the people of Sampa and Ghana. Nia o kan say Affidavit abusuafo enso so no e de Justice Ankama ekosi akonwa so benyanentie o say allegedly not say benyan atetesem say Affidavit abusuafo no e de Justice Ankama ekosi akonwa bi so e wo baabi a enye Sampa akonwa kese no akonwa tuntum no e na bebo ne samrane so ne ye Sampa Omahene etia Sampa amamre. Nananom, it was held in the case of the Chief of Chokosi and others versus Alaji Aban and others 1972 IGL 257 that the purpose of an interim injunction is to preserve the status quo ante, in other words, preserve the subject matter of the litigation until the final determination of the subject matter. Now lawyer no echo to Chokosi and others versus Alaji Aban or say a whole and a court no 1972 who say injunction tabu no yede to obi so wabreko anasem court say beyo na asumdue beba kosi say bibedi sa asem na awie. Nananom, it was also held in Vanderpoel versus Noti 1977 IGLRF 428CA that the governing principles applicable to application for injunction is whether on the face of the affidavit there is a need to preserve the status quo to avoid irreparable damages to the applicant, provided the case is not frivolous or vexatious. The petitioners, after installing Nana Yaw Samodua II, wrote to inform the Regional House of Chiefs about it. Or say, now a case be a 1977 Vanderpool versus Naughty, a case 1977, no, and also a copy say a cobase a humbe here say a mamra a war that no yedi Juma dea. Ene na emra ema ho kwan se obi ede tabo ekoto obi a otwe amamre na ewo ho dada no otwe ho manso no watwe asa no yede tabo no ebo no kusi se asema edafi no yebeka wie. Nananom have shown prima facie grounds in support of the right the petitioners are claiming, which is supported by the customary law and precedents of Sampa traditional area. Or say, near Nananom Ekain, and Nananom Bakwa do say, Passama Bekano de Eyenokre, na ene Sampa, Amamrane, Amanieno, ene nam, eno emobria over Biarada, near Nana Yaw Samodua II Nusia Kunyasono, the Ball Regional House of Chiefs Nonso Amanie. C. Punjab Brothers versus Nami, 1958. 3 WALR 381. Nanamom, it is clear that the applicants have a customary legal right in law and in equity which ought to be protected by Nanamom, as was held by Supreme Court in the case of Owusu versus Owusu and Sound 2007-2008 SCJLR 870. Or say, Nananom na asembi asipen asema Nananom jinaswa best record to say court mfatabo enkoto Justice Ankamasono ebi asipen ewo Owusu versus Owusu and Sons case in 2007. The applicants and the people of Sampa will suffer irreparable damage, substantial injustice, harm, and a greater inconvenience if the respondent continues to present himself as additional Omahene of Sampa. Never can say, Nananom biense ya best record son fatabo ento Justice Emmanuel Ankamasu. Basem say Sampa for say court no antie basem no a e de how kese ebebra Sampa for a enye asemketwa. Nananom, it is not the custom of the people of Sampa for a Fiatekia family to nominate somebody or member of their family to be installed as the Omahene of Sampa. We therefore pray that in the interest of justice, peace, and the custom of the people of Sampa, the present application be granted. Nyo can say, a Fiatekia Busiana de Lala enya de a Sampa Mahene akunya kese no BDB ene sentino Nananom etrese court no embomode na onti ben kwadu abede bo Justice Ankama na adisredi a bede akoto Nananom court nanim so omfata abo onto Justice Ankama esono. Dated at Munufia Legal Services, Sunyane, this 24th day of July 2025, signed by Kwajo Adupo, Supreme Lawyer for the petitioners, and copied to the Registrar Regional House of Chiefs, Bono Region, and copied for service in the respondents hearing, and copied for service on the respondent hearing. Na sa Kwabi ana statement ibano asemi bedi bi esan koma Bono belo ya kuchi egu krata so edibi ekoma Bono Regional House of Chiefs Registrar na pesa edi krata ebi ekoma nana pesa edi krata ebi ekoma Justice Ankama bɛbɔ ne kwadu no bɛde ebi ɛkɔma no. Now yɛwɔ krataa ɛtɔ so mmiɛnsa na nanom asi bɛbɔ sɛ asɛm wei ano ɛhye nti bibi di akyiri na yɛntie krataa ɛtɔ so mmiɛnsa no emu asɛm wɔ yɛwɔ krataa bi a yɛfrɛ no capacity na nanom ɛyɛ hwan nom ɛno so na nanom mmiɛnsa ɛkyerɛ bi dibia ɛne neɛ nti a ɛho bɛhia sɛ mfa taaboɔ ɛnto Justice Emmanuel Ankama was a petition to the Bono Regional House of Chiefs. Full name of petitioners Nananom Miensa Eni Nana Sie Kwasi Jase Hene of Sampa, Nana Kwame Lofia Abakma Hene of Sampa, Nana Ajato the second Nifa Hene of Sampa. Capacity of petitioners. Petitioners no ba best record to baby Dibiane saying the first petitioner is the Jasehine of Sampa and Kingmaker of Sampa.According. Nananom Niedika Nana Sie Kwasi Ose on the Ye Jasehine Ewo Sampa na ono okan asia hene for no so. The second petitioner is the Abakma of Sampa and the Kingmaker of the Sampa.According. Nana Kwame Lofia ono so eye a otoso mienui ono so ya Abakma hene na ono eka asia hene for no so na ono na etoso mienu a ode na desrede to court anim no. The third petitioner is the Nifahene of Sampa and the Kingmaker of Sampa.According. Now the third petitioner no Nana Ajato the second on the year Nifahene na ono so oye okan asia hene for petitioners address for service. Na petitioners no near obi pese otwere be krata ese odi kosine so care of adu bosompem kodu munufie legal services house number D19/2 Sunyane, name and address of parties who may be directly affected by the action. Justice Emmanuel Ankama of Sampa, name and particulars of witness whom the petition intend to call at the hearing. Near Nananom can say court no setna Ben Crawford by say bebe frebe na babedi adanse amabe ene ochiame ya obedi akon oman hene chiame Sampa ena Adam Watara principal member na chese odimutintimapa ena sie Wilfred and others eye ochiame ya obedi akon Adam Watara ene sie Wilfred sanipa miensen ene ebinu a beka ho ena nananom miensen ekire se beye ba dansefo a bebetim abedi adanse e wo court wo e de ama won. Facts and particulars upon which the petitioners will rely on. Near petitioner nananom miensen be kan se agina so abewo a bebe gina so e de akabasem adi asem no eno ne bakuruchire agukrata yaso yi. Or say whereas the petitioners have reason and can prove that the following particulars are true. Or say nananom miensa bedba district According judicial committee of Bono House of Chiefs bajina so a ekitabe no eye agina so a emu eduru na ye no krenso na no ene didi this way. One, that the respondent is a member of the Affidavit family. Niebe can say respondent eye Justice Ankama or ye Affidavit busuani prekope. Two, the petitioners are the Jasehine Nifahene Abakma of Sampa Traditional Council and Kingmakers of the Sampa Paramount II. Niebe can say benipa miensano be Jasehine Nifahene ni Abakma ewo Sampa akunya kese no na ba so ne be asia hene. The petitioners say that the Queen Mother of Sampa, in consultation with the elders of the royal family, nominated Ransford Oba to be considered as the Hene of Sampa. Near Nananom Yase can say, but in a so abedi kodia semnon say, Obahima and the power one Ransford Oba say, Yamfano NC Akunya so Sampa Okunya Kesiano. There no enam so mabusia for Nina Kingmakers. After he had been selected and installed by the Kingmakers of Sampa, he was given a new stool name, Nana Yaw Samodua II. Nana nom chese bede Ransford Oba esi akonwa no so be mani din Nana Yaw Samodua II. That after the death of Nana Kofisno II, petitioners who are the Kingmakers of Sampa or Manhines to nominated and selected and installed Nana Yaw Samodua II as the Chief of Sampa. Or say bede Nana Yaw Samodua II akonwa so obra Nana Kofisno a otosumienu wuye. The Kingmakers of Sampa and the Queen Mother of the Omanhines too went through the customary practice of the people of Sampa in their nomination, selection, and installments of Nana Yaw Samodua II as the new Omanhine of Sampa. Sampa 2015, at the time there is no case pending in respect of the Sampa Omanhines too and the new Omanhine Nana Yaw Samodua. Or say, Nananom ede Nana Yaw Samodua II si akonwa so eye bronya bosme no etoso nkron afi mpimienu ene edunum no 2015 wobreko ana Sampa akonwa no amanso bia eni ho. That the Kingmakers have not nominated, selected, and installed any other person as the Chief of Sampa after the installment of Nana Yaw Samodua II. Or say ani foi bemfa nipa foforo bia ensi akonwa so e wo Nana Yaw Samodua II achi no bemfa nipa foforo bia ensi akonwa so. That the respondent, who is from the Fiatetua family, is holding himself as the Omanhene of Sampa. Was in the hard way they say, Papa opania ya sama no ye justice ankama no a ofri Fiatetua abusuam no ono ne ya ode hyehye ne ho wo Sampa ne so ono ene ye Sampa Manhene. That petitioner say that the respondent is styling and presenting himself as a Paramount Chief of Sampa, which is a recipe for chaos in the Sampa traditional area, more so where the Kingmakers have already installed Nana Yaw Samodua II as the new Omanhene of Sampa. Or say, na eye justice ankama ode hyehye ne ho so na ye Sampa Manhene no ebetimi ama Sampa asundue no abowon na ebetumi ede baspasaye aba. That the respondents say that Nana Yaw Samodua II is now in possession of the Omanhene of Sampa Black Stool and also in control of the Omanhene's palace at Sampa. Ode Nana Yaw Samodua otosumiesa abede ni si hini ono na kunwabre kunwa tuntum no wone ho. Ono so na sabre Sampa Manhene na traya eye Sampa himfie no ono ekita no a ono obo ho ban. The petitioners say that the conduct of the respondent is an aberration of the custom and tradition of Sampa traditional area, which cannot have two paramount chiefs at the same time. And add that after the installment of Nana Yaw Samodua II, they have not installed any other person as Omanhene of Sampa. Or say, na etiamra kwakra say Sampa traditional area ho ebinya himienu na bede ne avenim no Nana Yaw Samodua bede ni si akonwa so no yamoni pa foforo bia din. That again, it is not the custom of the people of Sampa to have two paramount chiefs at the same time. Itia Sampa amamre ne amane say bebinya ahimienu. Wherefore the petitioner seek the following reliefs. Or say, na babo beko adu awie no ne ya bede eto Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee na nimne say onye adesrede ne edi disuika. Or say an order of the Honorable Judicial Committee restraining the respondent hearing from in any manner styling himself or holding himself and performing the duties and functions of the Paramount Chief of Sampa. But say na nanom fatabo Judicial Committee non fatabo entoneso se beyo na justice ankama entimi enye ne ho se oye Omanhene ewo Sampa traditional area. B, an order of perpetual injunction to restrain the respondent from in any manner styling himself or is holding himself and performing the duties and functions as a Paramount Chief or Omanhene of Sampa. Na nanom se bensam fatabo entoneso se on money din kura se oye manhene na on fan hihye ne ho kura se oye manhene ta adesredim yedui ena nananom yensen ede akodan Bono Judicial Committee se onye dated at Munufield Legal Services Sunyane 23rd day of July 2025, signed by Kojo Adubo Supreme Lawyer for the petitioners and copy to the Registrar Regional House of Chiefs Bono Region and copy for service on the respondent hearing. Na nanom say be bajina so abede kasa semi any release and answer the spread there better to court nanim say Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee a year court no anim onyema beno yes but the be akoma ma registrar Bono Regional House of Chiefs and na be be so ama justice and kama order for subscribe na share nama atifo entien kasebo bi yede kasebo no abawiye na ne ebe kan se sakrata wi aba se yede na nanom yensa be asi ahenefo Sampa ede akodan Judicial Committee of Bono House of Chiefs se bemfa tabo enkoto justice and kama so se onye ne ho se oyo ohene no niatia ne se court ne be kwa setena se would file injunction or apply for injunction court say yemfa tabo onkoto obi so emani ni dwuma bia esese odi ewo ekuro num ho anase ba bia court no ekwa setena wa opese yede tabo etu nipa no so no o lawyer gina ho na nipa kro na opese yede tabo no ekoto no so no ono so the lawyer gina ho na obia akana sem obia kana sema na Judicial Committee no anananom enetidwom na be lawyer so eka ho no sebeje tumse mo amo sre court se be mfa tabo onto obi so no masema amo kana mudika na edimu a na be de tabo no akoto sa nipa kro no so se be ya nhwehwemu na se masema amo kana moko adu amo bono enimi nso a na chese be ka kire mo se tabo no enye ade a bebetim ede ato sa nipa kro no a wode no ko se mfa tabo ento no so no sa enetie na Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee enyankwa setena ba several justice and kama senior yedi kankan ye no se order for substituted service court no amakwa mebede nkrata akotetare Sampa Police Station, Magistrate Court, Sampa Post Office, any notice border, a war or mine na himfianim, any mea bibri, our Sampa, set a beyo, nase justice and kama, who ye cry nase one tree ye cry na. Court mrano Yesusi se babi a yedia court tarenundino, obi behu na wate. Abe kantre no na dano so say ye free case no waba anase ordeni muaye akoma Judicial Committee no na basheda a free case no na case no ayede case no but the case no ahweba bia be the case no ebeto order for subscribe na share Entino African History and Heritage TV yebedi sanka ibo yachi yebedi application for injunction yachi na brano no ni ebe piem aba no yede beba abeto atie for manim yede nkaebo no aba wiye yedamase yemamu emonitie